Number 3.
Number 3.
Here we are.
Here we go.
So I know we talked about your most exquisite BMT picture.
Oh, you brought it up.
I did bring it up
This deep.
because I love it. I love it almost as much as I love you.
Oh, thank you.
But I have one too.
Yeah,
I do.
yours is a lot better than mine.
And my mom sent it to me.
Mm-hmm.
We had it. It was in one of the frames we have at home.
Yeah.
And like all my other military official photos were in front of it. So
Right.
she dug it out
Right.
and she sent it to me. And I showed it to you and I'll put it up.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
You're adorable.
Oh, okay.
Look so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you look better. I mean, you smiled in yours, so
Better than I look now.
of course not. You're more handsome now.
Thank you.
No, but I mean, it looks good. Like, it looks professional. You look like a young man ready to take on the world. Like, it's a good picture.
I feel like I was emaciated.
I don't think so.
You know, when I went in, I weighed 186 pounds and I had to lose like 4 so I didn't have to do a BMI.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came out of BMT, I was like 160 pounds.
This dudes drop weight in basic so fast compared to girls.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight.
Women end up gaining weight in basic because our bodies like adapt to the like the food and the workouts and stuff like that. And then once your stress levels kind of start to drop and you start to regulate and figure out the weekly, the workouts and the all the stuff, you end up gaining weight. And some women did.
I lost so much weight. I had a great 6-pack though, but the rest of me was it was bad.
Yeah.
I lost a lot.
My mom and my parents said I looked too skinny when I graduated too. But I think they were just in shock of seeing us in a uniform and like just different. We're different people after they dropped us off than when they picked us back up.
Because we're moving at the speed of excellence.
Sure.
But anyway, my picture, I smiled in it.
You did.
And I think I'm trying to remember back because it was a while ago. And like you weren't allowed to smile in yours.
No. She told us don't smile.
And that might have happened to us. And I think someone behind me had been like, oh, we're not allowed to smile.
You were like, I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah, I did it anyways. I think that's a little bit of a rebel in me. Where like,
did you get in trouble?
I'm here.
Yeah, but they didn't say anything.
No, I was paying for it. So I was going to do whatever I wanted in the picture. And I guess that's the rebel in me. Like, okay, when you take that risk, we'll figure it out. If you're going to go through all the photos and look at it, whatever, man. But
was it
I smiled at it.
Easier to ask for an apology or ask for forgiveness than ask for.
Yep. Ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
Yeah.
Yep. Take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I took the risk and I've got a smile.
It's a good picture.
Not like the smile from that mannequin. No.
It's nothing to compare to.
Yeah. So, yeah, I took the risk. I smiled. I paid for it. I feel like I look really tired in it.
I think we all feel that way about our own pictures. But then when I look at yours, I don't think you look tired. I think you look fine. Like, I think you look good. It's a good, I think it's a good picture. I think we're just more harsh critiques on ourselves most of the time.
Just like hearing my voice.
I think I look tired in mine. In my OTS picture, I don't like either. And I smiled in that one. I'm not a fan of that one either.
Oh, I have my OTS one. I think I like my basic training one better than my OTS one, to be honest with you.
I don't like either, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, the OTS one is better than my basic training one, but at the same time, they made us run 6 miles that morning before we took our OTS picture.
Yeah.
It was a prop and wings run.
Hey. Different story for a different time.
Yeah. Well, I don't like that picture either. So I don't think most military women will agree with me that the professional photo for women is not ideal. Is
for OTS or just in general?
In general, for any branch of the military, women's professional photos for military women is not what we'd want, because we don't get to choose our hair and our makeup
Mm-hmm.
The uniforms are not always the most flattering. And then the angle that they take our picture and the lighting, it's not flattering.
I mean, you do get to dye your hair, put on makeup, wear jewelry, all the good stuff, braids,
but
ponytails.
You can't see any of that in the picture.
There's one thing that men want in the military, and I think some people think it's disgusting, but I want it.
I know.
It's a beard.
I know. Everyone does. If there were the regulations, just keep it short. I think it'd be fine. I think morale would boost. You'd have a huge morale booster there.
I'd be happier.
Yeah.
So would my face.
Right. So a lot of men say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
But if you can see the mustache is gone, I got rid of it. That's the only thing we're allowed to have.
I didn't tell him to get rid of it. I didn't mind the mustache.
I felt like Bob's Burgers.
He did play with it a lot.
I did.
But no, for the women's pictures, we have to do our makeup neutral.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really supposed to wear eyeliner or colored eyeshadow. So, and then everything is supposed to look natural. So you really can't wear that much makeup. And then they wash you out with the lights and the way that they make you stand. Your hair's pulled back. Like, it's just not the most flattering photo for women. And then obviously our uniforms, that's a whole other thing. But I'm just not a fan of the Air Force dress uniforms. Other branches might really like it. And I know Marines look really good in theirs.
Yeah, the Army women do.
Navy looks really good. Navy's got, like 9 or 10 different uniforms. But
they're so fabulous.
But they don't,
Navy is
fabulous. They look good. Air Force's dress uniforms are not made for women. They didn't keep us in mind when creating these flight attendant uniforms for everybody.
Favorite dress uniform combination coming at you? Skirts and low quarters.
Ugh. That should not be a thing.
Skirts and low quarters.
No, that's not a thing. That shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. I know there's nothing in the AFI that says you can't do it.
You can do it.
But you should not do it.
Yeah.
Ever.
So, I know we're getting a little bit off topic here, but one of the guys I was at DLI with, he messaged me or he commented on something, and he was talking about mattress exchange. Mm-hmm. The mattress exchange. The first night, I got from BMT to DLI, my tech school, and I got there so late because my orders and my plane ticket got messed up, and I got there at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night on, I think it's a Friday when we leave or something like that, or a Thursday. Either way, like, he had popped his head out the door, and he looks at me, he said, "Hey, tomorrow morning at 0500 mattress exchange. Yeah, no such thing."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Just be outside your door at 5 o'clock in the morning. We're all going to exchange mattresses. It's something we do here."
So he's just messing with you? Yeah,
but I was so tired that I really didn't care. And I was like, if this is a real thing, they'll wake me up.
Yeah. Didn't work. He didn't get you.
No, he did. Oh. He's a funny guy, though.
Oh, so you were fine with it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We got a bunch of other good stories from there, too.
Yeah. But talking about basic training, pretty much we're going back to the beginning of why we started our careers.
Before we go there, I want to make 2 quick corrections from the last 2 episodes. It's not Chow Shark. It's Chow Runner. Chow Shark is an OTS thing that, like, makes sure people get up in time and seats people in the right place. That's Chow Shark. But the Chow Runner in BMT, they go up to the snake pit. Right. And then the other one, and I was editing the videos because, like, you can see the new format here. Doing 2 cameras was real tough.
Yeah. And we like each other.
It was really tough. Like, I was just editing videos forever. I got better at it, but new format, maybe a little bit easier. We'll see. Trying it out. But going through there, I was listening to the last episode about fitness, and I said that motivation is an emotion and discipline is a behavior. It's an action. It's something that you do. And then, like, 5 seconds later, I said discipline is an emotion. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Yeah. And I called it, and I listened to it. I'm like, ugh, awful.
Yeah.
Fix yourself. So I'm fixing myself. Discipline is an action. It's a behavior. It's something you control. It's not an emotion. It's not fleeting.
Right.
Like motivation is an emotion.
Right.
But
you need to have discipline to have motivation.
Anyway, corrections made.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I'm sure everyone is riveted.
You're welcome. So, we were talking about some of our BMT experiences and maybe some tech school Air Force experiences, but we, since we're at the beginning, I think it'd be a good idea to talk about like what made you want to join the United States Air Force,
right?
And not the Army,
right?
Not the Marines,
right?
Not the Navy,
right?
Coast Guard in time of war.
Mm-mm.
But what really drew you to the Air Force? Because you did junior ROTC, but that was for the Marines.
I did Marine Corps JROTC at West Allegheny High School.
You did?
I did. For all 4 years of high school.
I don't have a picture of it, so I can't put it up.
I probably burned all those ones, so those are gone.
Well, what made you want to join? Like what? Why?
Why?
Let's go, Simon Sinek.
What made me want to join? Why?
Why made you want to join?
So I joined JROTC in high school, my freshman year. And honestly, I think I joined because I had the option of a free period and I had to fill it with a class, and it was either home economics or JROTC. And I did not want to sew. See, home economics to me was not super interesting, and I somehow stumbled upon JROTC and put it on my my schedule for my free period. Came home, told my parents. I said, "Hey, I signed up for JROTC," and they were just shocked. They're like, "Why? What in the world would make you want to do that?" And I said I had option between home ec and JROTC, and I said, "So here we go." And that was my freshman year, and after that, I pretty much was hooked. So I enjoyed the heck out of JROTC at West Allegheny High School. Let me tell you, the instructors were amazing. I had a retired sergeant major and a retired major, and that's probably what made me enjoy JROTC so much was those two guys. Like they were teachers, but they were mentors, and they were like second dads to a lot of students. They were awesome. So I think that was a huge part in me sticking it out all 4 years was, we got to do cool stuff and wear uniforms. We did trips to, DC, and we got to go to Virginia. We went to Washington, DC, and we did cool stuff like that. But the instructors is what made me stay and stick with it.
Then how'd you find the Air Force?
Through them as well.
Okay. Did they tell you don't join the Marines?
They did.
Oh.
They said, do not join the Marine Corps as a woman and do not join the Army. Now, disclaimer, I'm not saying to women who are in the Army and the Marine Corps that you shouldn't have done it. This is just this was the advice I was given at the time when I was 17, was look into the Air Force or the Navy. That's the two that they said. That was just the tempo at the time in around 2009. Things are probably different now, and I do have women friends that are in the Marine Corps that love it, and I'm proud of them. But at the time, the tempo was Air Force or Navy. So my major Bodison, one of the ROTC instructors, helped me get in touch with a recruiter from the Pennsylvania Air National Guard.
And maybe they saw something in your personality that they were like, you're probably more an Air Force person versus other services person. Because I can tell you, like my personality, I'm definitely more Air Force personality than probably the other services personality.
They didn't get that deep with me.
No, well, I mean,
said Air Force or Navy. We did have an Air Force recruiter come talk, and I think that's what piqued my interest, and maybe they realized that they saw how interested I was in the active duty recruiter that came, and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to go active, and my mom was like, the hell you will.
Oh, Lenny.
So I had to come back to school all disappointed. I told Major Bodison, I said, my mom said I can't go active duty. So, and he said, that's totally fine. I have, a replacement for that. And then that's where the Pennsylvania Air National Guard came in.
It's working out for you.
13 years.
Yeah. I'm here.
Almost 14. I mean, March will be 14 years. So
Yeah.
so we
met.
we met.
Yeah.
We've gone a bunch of cool places. I've got to do a lot of cool stuff. And now we work at the Georgia International Guard.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you're okay.
We're doing fine.
You're okay.
We're doing good.
Yeah. Quote a little OTS thing that I got from that we used.
Yeah.
Slightly above average.
You're right. You're slightly above average. Doing all right. Slightly
above average.
But yeah, that's how I started with it. I stuck with it all 4 years of high school. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where they were willing to give me a scholarship if I wanted to go to college.
Oh shit.
For JBROTC for college.
Mm-hmm.
But I said no because they were both, the scholarships available at the time were both Army.
Mm-hmm.
So my one buddy did go, Jesse. He took the Army scholarship, went to, I want to say Pitt, correct? Sorry, Jesse, if I'm wrong, but he became an Army captain. So awesome for him. He took the scholarship, went to school, did all the cool things, stuck it out. But I wanted to go Air Force, so no scholarship, but it did pay for school and did all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I think I wanted to join. I mean, I always wanted to be something larger myself, and I think we have a lot of service in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And not to sound like Forrest Gump, but in our family we've had people in pretty much every war, pretty much everything that's happened. We got draft papers from the Revolutionary War, from the Civil War, World War I, World War II. So like past family service and like a deep commitment to patriotism, and I always wanted to be something larger than myself, but I'm going to date myself here a little bit again. After 9/11, that was my junior year in high school. So if you do the math, you can figure out how close to old I am. But I went to the National Guard. Somehow I found the National Guard. I was like, hey, I want to go. This is it. This is my calling. And my parents and family were like, if you want to do it, go to college first, get your degree, take care of your school, and then do that. Mm-hmm. And then I did school.
Right.
In school, we talked about playing baseball, graduated with math degree, and I came out and I was like, okay, really don't know what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Right around 2007, 2008. Really great time to be graduating college into the amazing economy at that time, right, which didn't exist.
Right.
And not a lot of jobs out there. Learned a lot of lessons from those jobs, which we'll talk about. Mm-hmm. But for the sake of this, I think learning those lessons pushed me back towards joining the military. And then I went into an Army recruiter. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, I want to be an officer. And he's like, well, you really don't. You want to get more respect, and the way you're going to get more respect is to go and enlist it in the Army and then go to officer candidate school. And I was like, I was a little bit older at the time, so I wasn't really buying it.
Right.
So then I walked into the Air Force recruiter's office, and I was like, hey, I want to be an officer. And they're like, sure. Well, let's put in the packet. Let's see how it goes. Mm-hmm. I didn't get it, but I decided that the Air Force was like willing to listen to me or like take into some consideration.
Right.
Which I'm not saying the Army doesn't do that, but I mean, recruiting is a big thing. Like there's so much that, I mean, even this morning, we're working the gate with some of the other officers. We were talking about like, hey, how did you come in? You know, what was your experience getting to where we're at?
Right.
Recruiting, huge.
Right. 100%.
Huge. Getting to talk to the right person at the right time in the right way is exactly to get where you need to go. And all three of us, it wasn't like the first time we talked to somebody. Mm-hmm. It was like the 10th or the 15th time or the try that we got to where we wanted to go, right, to just start that journey,
right,
as an officer. Anyway, I enlisted. And then after 4 years and a few more packets of trying to apply for OTS, I finally got it. Mm-hmm. but it just takes time and find the right place, the right time, and just that persistence over time is going to get you where you need to go.
Yeah. It's funny though too, like our stories are so different, but we ended up here together at the same time. Like everyone's stories, either joining active duty or guard or reserves, are different, but you still somehow all end up in the same small, we jokingly call it the Air Force is so small.
It is.
You do end up working with the same people or like crossing paths. So I joined at 17, right? Joined the Air National Guard at 17. Paid for my tuition, so I got to go to college while I was in the Air National Guard. Got my degree in exercise science, and I stayed enlisted for 8.5 years. So I was enlisted longer than you, and I enlisted before you did, but then you commissioned before I did. So that's why you outrank me now.
Yes, it is.
But it's just crazy how it is. It's different paths. So I stayed enlisted longer. I was like I said, enlisted at 17 years old. I was a fuel systems mechanic on the KC-135 refuelers. So I climbed inside fuel tanks.
What were you talking about the other day? You wouldn't fit now.
No, baby wouldn't fit.
The baby.
But,
she's hanging out.
I did that for 8.5 years. I did a bunch of trips around the world. I got to see a bunch of really cool stuff in my 20s. And I honestly never thought about commissioning until it came to a point in my career where I was either going to be stuck at a certain rank for a long period of time, or I knew I just didn't want to be an airplane mechanic for the rest of my Air Force career. So it was like, do I cross-train into a different job and stay enlisted, or do I commission? And I was lucky enough to have not recruiters, but the right leadership tell me, hey, you're really good at this, but you'd be better doing something else. And they were able to steer me into commissioning.
Yeah, I had that where they're like, nope, this is where you need to go, so go there. And you can see it. Once you get to the other side, you definitely can see it.
Now that we're on that side, we say that to people all the time.
Definitely.
I just talked to a kid today at drill, like, hey, you need to finish your degree because in the next few years, you would be able to, you can do this. But talking about recruiting, I also will say I got very lucky in recruiting because I had an awesome recruiter. Like Major Bodzin called over to the guard base, and I had Lindsay, and you met Lindsay. It's like she was my recruiter, and I'm still friends with her to this day. Like love her to death. So I got really lucky of hitting the right recruiter at the right time, and everything kind of just went smooth for me. So
I think one of the other reasons that I decided to join was it got me out of my comfort zone. I was so comfortable in my hometown where like I don't think I would be as successful as I am now if I hadn't taken that leap and just left and gone and done other things.
100
and seen other things.
100% agree. I would not be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It changes you.
Right.
It takes you out of that little bubble that you've been in for 18, 20 years of your life, and then just catapults you to something completely different.
And you have to learn new personalities, new characteristics about yourself. You have to learn how to deal with very different types of people from all over the country, different, and their personalities, and just how to live together in the same unit for a while, whether you like them or not. It's a growing experience for you. And that's another thing that separates us, but we're the same. I joined when I was 17. You joined when you were?
Well, I started the process at 24, and then I finally went to BMT at 26. And that's just because of where my birthday fell and where I walked into the recruiter's office. So
you were 10 years older than me when you went to basic. So you were dealing with 17 and 18-year-olds.
Yeah, it was great.
Basic. Right.
Yeah.
So that talks about your personality, your character, all the things that you've learned. You already did 4 years of college. You played baseball. You had teammates. Like you were on a team for 4 years. And then you went to basic, and now you're on this new team. And you're older and more mature and more life experience than these other teammates. And now you have to
you really see it too, because two quick stories at BMT and OTS. At BMT, people come from everywhere. And I was fortunate enough that when we went to church when I was younger, my mom made sure that we had suits And we went to Burlington Coat Factory a lot because that's where the suits were. And like, hey, you're a kid, you're gonna grow out of them. So we had a suit, but I had learned how to dress myself in a suit and how to put on a suit coat at such a young age that there were people at BMT that had, when we put on our service dress, that was probably the nicest piece of clothing that they had ever worn. And they didn't know what to do or like put on the jacket, because you don't put the jacket on like, it's like you bring it down from like underneath and then up and over.
Right.
And I was like, what are you guys doing? And it really helps you reflect on how fortunate you had been growing up versus other people. And then like you could help them be like,
yeah.
And then like OTS, just coming from different backgrounds, there was some dude there that was like 24, and he this is like his first time away from home.
Oh.
And I was like, dude, you got to make your bed. You got to iron. Have you ever done any of this? He's like, no.
Yeah.
My mom makes my bed for me in the morning. My mom irons my clothes for me. My mom does my wash. My mom does everything. I was like, well, it's about to change, buddy.
It's amazing
the different backgrounds
that people come from, and then you put all of us in the same room together for weeks on end. Like you learn a lot about yourself, and hopefully you learn a lot of I learned to have patience for people, because it's not that my patience was short, but it kind of was. But I was also used to like one thing.
You're saying you don't have a short fuse?
I used to.
Yeah. It's gotten a little bit longer.
A little. It's not much.
Mine too. Mine was really short growing up. I had a really short fuse.
And it's just like, you just have to be like, wow, these people weren't raised the same way I was, or they don't know, they don't know any better. But it's a super eye-opening. So, but I don't know. I've enjoyed every minute of it, as much as there's times where you hate it, and as much as there's times where you love it. You look back all together. I have people ask me all the time, if you could join again, would you be an airplane mechanic and go through all that all over again? And 100% I would.
Yep.
Because I had friends that did other jobs that hated their jobs, and after 6 years got out and didn't even consider cross-training because their just experience sucked.
But you wouldn't be who you are now if you didn't go through it.
100%. So I think what I did for 8 years as an enlisted person helped me become the officer that I am, and carried my career to where it is because of all the things that I've learned, good and bad, right? I had good life experiences. I've had bad life experiences. I've made mistakes. I've learned from those mistakes, and it's accumulated and brought me to where I am now in my career as an officer. It's cool. I like it.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's something I always wanted to do. Like, just always wanted to do it. And I got talked out of it every single time I wanted to do it. And maybe it's because of the past family history of service and some things that had happened to some of those people that had served. And they're like, you don't want to do this. You're not going to like it. You're not going to be able to do the things you want to do. And like, just something deep inside, like my soul was like, this is what you need to be doing.
Right.
And they're like, but you don't like being told what to do.
Yeah. It's different.
I mean, like that goes back to like the little bit of the rebel from
it's different
smiling during my picture.
It's different though, because you're being told what to do, but like nobody tells us what to do now as operational. It's just something that they do in basic in OTS to kind of like piss you off a little bit.
I think it's
a learning thing. It's like you have to be a good follower to be a good leader.
Then also listening to other people that have never been in and really couldn't speak to it, and finding somebody that's like, no, this is actually how it is.
Right. Like they tell you what to do, but they're teaching you things and you're learning things. I mean, so just to back up from you saying past family experiences and past family service, my grandfather on my dad's side was the last one to serve in the Air Force. And we've talked about that. You know, he was World War II.
Yep, that was the picture we had up in the previous episode.
Yeah.
B-25 Liberator.
And he was
the turret gunner on the bottom.
Yep. So that was my dad's dad. And then my dad has he's one of 4 brothers. None of them served. My mom's side, nobody served on her side. So I am one of 1 in the Troutman clan that served since then. And even then, since now we don't have anybody else that's served. I have family in police and like firefighters and stuff like that. But military wise, I'm the only military member in my family. And I think that says a lot, because you either get the family that has years and years of service and past, and it's carried on, and it's like a legacy. And then you got us that are like, it like you said earlier, it's like that. I felt it in my soul. Like it was just something that I did it for 4 years in high school, and all the girls, and again, I'm not trying to stereotype, but when I was in school in high school, it was you were either going to be a nurse or like a teacher. Like there wasn't much else out there at the time. Again, this is back in 2009. Just kind of what I saw. And I didn't want to be a nurse. I didn't want to be a teacher. So I applied to one college because my mom made me, because I was dead set on going active duty. And when we talked about it, she was like, you're 17. You can't do what you want yet. Luckily, Major Bodison, JROTC instructor, was able to step in and say, hey, look, that college that you applied for, the Guard will pay for you to go there. And then that sparked my mom to say, oh, free school? Because I got another kid to pay for.
Yeah.
That's great. And it was a win-win, right? And I was able to do both. And then I'm able to serve part-time while I went to school full-time. I was able to get my degree. I actually got to deploy in the middle of my 5 years of college, but then I had to take a year off, right? So 5 years of school. In Edinburgh, where I went to school, was cool about just they paused my enrollment while I deployed. I came back and then I re-enrolled back in school. And there was no like hesitation with any of my payments or anything like that, because the Guard just covered it. And I just felt like this is the career, this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's funny because like I remember we went to my 10-year high school reunion.
We did.
It was in,
that's probably the oldest person there too.
If you're from Pittsburgh, it was at Buckhead Saloon. So that's where, if you know where that is. And it was nice, but it was funny because a lot of my classmates are like, what do you do? Or like, how have you been? Whatever. And I said, yeah, I'm a logistics officer in the Air Force and coming up on, X amount of years at that point.
Yep.
And they look at me and they go, you still do that?
Yeah. Like, called a career.
Right. Like, and not trying to
piss anybody off. Not in a mean way, but
I know a lot of people that did their 4 years, did their 6 years, got out, it wasn't for them, or there was another reason or whatever.
I thought I was going to do 6 and that was going to be it. I'm like, right. Oh, I'm out.
But
here I am.
It drew me in more and more every year. Every time I would re-enlist or do something, I just felt that pull of like, this is what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life. This is my career. So I would tell people, I'm like, I said, I still do that. And I said, it's my career now. And I freaking love it. Like,
yeah, me too.
This is what we were like meant to do. And especially now, I feel like as officers, we get to tell younger people that. And it's almost like you're talking to yourself when you were like,
yeah.
And you're just like, I promise you it gets better. It's going to be awesome. Your career is going to be great. Just go do it. It's hard for them to,
it's hard to see at the time. It's really hard to see. But then you look back, it goes so quick.
It does.
I can still remember walking out of the recruiter's office to go to BMT and what I was wearing, where my parents were at, and just walking out of the office there and getting into a magnificent government van, a GSA van, and riding to MEPS in Harrisburg with 12 other people. It was crazy at the time too, because that was 13 years ago and I was there with much younger individuals,
right,
who didn't even understand 9/11,
right,
and that was like 2010, 2011,
right.
Now it's so strange, I guess, because a lot of the new people that are coming in weren't even alive.
Oh, 100%. It's so weird to see airmen that we work with that have 2000 birth year. Was born in 2000. I'm like, what?
I'm sure that's how it was when I came in, and they're like, well, you were born when? In the 80s? What?
Yeah.
What?
I got that when I was
here.
Well, oh, you were born in 91? You're so young.
Yeah, I think we're going through the same thing that our superiors or our leadership were going through when we came in. They're like,
right,
how are you even here right now?
Or like when the younger airmen, male or female, look at you like oh my God, they're captain, they're major, like, and they're talking to me. It's like, yeah, but outside of this, if we're at Walmart together and you had no idea who I was, if I wasn't in uniform, you would just talk to me like a normal person. And it's that, like, they look up to you because they're like, I want to be that someday. And you're like, I was you, man. I promise you it gets better. Put your head down, do the work. And if it's something that you love, which I think for both of us, it's something that we knew we were going to do this for the rest of it. We hit a point in our careers, either enlisted or early as an officer, that you were like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life.
No, I wanted to be an officer before I even came in.
Yeah, I didn't. So
I do.
It's just funny, like how the paths are different. I didn't know I was going to become an officer. And I
didn't know what they did.
Right.
But I wanted to be an officer because Band of Brothers.
Yeah. So I didn't have any of that. I enlisted because I just wanted to be in the Air Force. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just was like, I want to be in the Air Force because some recruiter came and talked to me about it. It seems really cool. It's to fly planes and do stuff. And I just wanted to be in. I didn't know the difference. I don't know if I even knew the difference between enlisted and officer.
Yeah.
But it took 8.5 years of learning the enlisted side and having really good leadership come and say, you're real good at your job, but you could do so much better.
Not that you could do better. You have the talent to do more.
Do better. Yeah.
Do more.
Yeah.
Do more.
And it's cool that, like, now we can be those people to the younger generation and say, you're going to do so much good here in a few years. Like, keep going.
Yeah. You turn around and then you offer them a hand to help them up.
Yeah.
Just like somebody helped you.
Yeah. And they're so excited about it when you tell them it like makes you excited to be like, I just want to help you get to that point.
Well, the one thing too is like, I'll definitely mention it to somebody like, hey, you should do this, or you should look into it, or like you would be a good officer. But past that point, if they don't pursue it,
there's a point where you do have to give up on.
It's not give up, but like if they really want to do it, they have to be the ones to want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the filtering process. You can give them that mentorship and say, hey, this is what you should be doing. And then they have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
But you can help guide them.
And to say, on top of that, people listening that are in the military, there are bad officers out there. Like, we've all dealt with it. We dealt with it as enlisted. You've dealt with it as an enlisted person. I've dealt with it. There's officers that give us a bad name.
Needs improvement.
They're bad. There's
improvement.
There's bad officers out there. So, which is a good learning experience for enlisted people, because it's like, hey, if I decide to go down this commissioning route, this is what I will not do when I become an officer. It's like a bad learning experience, but they're going to take away something good from it.
That's a big thing to do in life, and you learn that in the military, especially in BMT, when someone's getting jacked up. You're like, oh my God, what did that person do? And then you figure it out, and then you don't do it. You don't do it. What did that person do? Or they get back to the dorm, and you're like,
poster child or whatever.
What did they do?
Right.
And they're like, they did this. I'm like, okay, don't do that. Don't ever do that.
No taken.
Don't do that.
But even for us as officers, when we look at other officers that are our peers that do something and then doesn't get taken well by enlisted, or higher ups don't, he or she gets reprimanded, it's like, okay, note taken. I will make sure as in the officer section that I'm in that I don't do that to my
when the senior enlisted come to me, or the chief comes to me and they're like, hey, sir, here's some feedback.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Because sometimes you don't know. I mean, we talked about it. You don't know.
Yeah.
It's like playing sports and being on videotape. You don't know what you're doing, and sometimes you have the best intentions, and until someone says like, hey, it's not being taken that way.
Right.
That's why you have to be able to take feedback. But it's just always something that I wanted to do. Patriotism, family history, got me out of my hometown, got me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. It definitely
helped pay for school.
Was a big thing.
Yep. Pay for my master's.
It's something new that you can't prepare for. Everyone can kind of sort of prepare for college. You have friends that can talk about it and stuff like that. But joining the military at any branch, I would say, is just a life-changing experience.
Yep.
And hopefully for most of you, it was a good life-changing experience.
Yeah.
I know, unfortunately, there are not.
But go find someone that's done it.
Yeah.
Go talk to them. Ask them their experience. Not that the recruiter's not going to tell you the truth, but go find somebody else to talk to, get multiple points of view, and ask them like, hey, what was this like? What did you like to do? Do you know anybody else that I can talk to?
Right. And then ask them what their interests are outside of the military, because, I was an airplane mechanic for 8 years, but my degree was exercise science. So they don't correlate at all.
Human performance.
Right. Human performance, exercise science, but they don't correlate, right? Like, it has nothing to do with fixing airplanes. But it was great that I've learned 2 sets of skills now that I have, and then becoming a logistics officer. Now I have a whole new set of skills, It's just, you're constantly like growing all the time.
But, right.
Yeah. I mean, we love it.
I love it.
If you have people that are interested, send them our way. We'd love to talk to them and
send them this.
Yeah. Just tell them that, we're genuinely, we love it. That's why we talk about it.
Let them listen. Send us comments,
questions, whatever.
Concerns.
Like I said, if you got young people in your life that are interested in any branch, we'll be honest and tell them our Air Force stories, but a lot of it overlaps,
Yep.
There's things that we can talk about, but we're always here to help.
Put it in the comments.
Right.
Ask us. Send us a message. We'll definitely answer it. And if this is something like we have been saying that you think will help somebody, or you think somebody would be interested into it or in it, send it to them.
Yep. Share it with the world, please.
I think future episodes, whenever we get time here, which we will have time, I really want to eat an MRE.
I keep talking.
I'm not going to make you eat it because I don't know how our daughter would deal with that.
She might not be a fan.
And boy, do they stop you up.
Yeah. Well, that, and I don't want her to come out with like 3 eyeballs or something.
She could see better.
Nope. Negative. Not going to happen.
But yeah, we got a whole box of MREs. I think that's one of the next things we're going to do. We got a bunch of people that want to come on. So maybe we'll have an MRE feast together.
Yeah.
But
we have military friends. We have, ex-military friends, law enforcement friends. It's just, they're going to tell their stories. They're going to talk about their life, and you will be able to relate to somebody here.
And we might be eating MREs at the same time.
We'll see.
I really want to eat one with your dad. Because we gave him a bunch, and I don't know if he actually ate them or not.
I don't think so. He's probably just holding on to it.
All right.
But I hope you enjoyed our conversation.
Yep.
Like we said, we're super passionate about stuff like this, so it comes from the heart when we're telling you these things. We're not just trying to blow smoke. We genuinely want you guys to enjoy our stories.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.